Hi, I'm Weldon Bringhurst, the designer of Broadside. Broadside is a tactical combat game for 3 to 8 players featuring naval dogfighting in a fantasy setting. It can be taught to new players in 10 minutes or less and typically takes an hour or two to play. Its simple and intuitive gameplay makes it enjoyable for people just getting into board gaming, while its deep strategy and high player interaction will delight even the most hardcore strategy gamers. In this short video, I will highlight some of the mechanics by showing a single round of gameplay. To demonstrate this, I have loaded up a virtual copy of the game on Tabletop Simulator and will be joined by my cousin Jared. Broadside features 8 playable ships, all of which have unique abilities and special cards. Today I will be playing the Corvette, a ship that specializes in getting close to others and dealing high damage with close-range attacks. Jared will be playing the Frigate, the most durable ships due to its high armor and health. He will also be playing the Dreadnought, a ship specialized in ramming attacks. To win a game of Broadside, players will have to collect glory, a resource tracked on the top of their player board. I currently have 4 glory. Certain actions such as damaging or destroying another player's ship will generate glory. When a player reaches 7 glory, they reset to 0 and gain a glory token. A turn of Broadside begins with the planning phase. During this phase, each player places a movement and combat card face down on each of their phases on their shipboard, like we have already done. Once all players are done planning, play proceeds to the execution phase. Starting with the player that has the initiative token, they reveal their first movement card and activate that card. This process is then repeated with combat cards and then subsequent movement and combat cards. In this case, I will do a left turn, moving my ship forward, turning 90 degrees to the left, and then moving forward again. This ship will move forward. When a ship moves into a square already occupied by another ship or monster, it instead rams it. When you ram, you deal 1 damage to both entities. In this case, the Dreadnought has the ramming mount, which causes it to deal an additional damage when ramming and take 1 less damage when rammed. So, this creature, the Megalopron, will take 2 damage. The Megalopron has a reaction, which is when it takes damage, it moves forward, and then if it was hit from the side, it rotates 90 degrees towards the source of the damage, resulting in it moving forward and rotating. Now that all ships have moved, we proceed to combat. Jared's ship uses the grapple attack. It hits an adjacent ship, gives him an extra glory if he hits, and can steal items. Unfortunately for him, I have played the Musket Volley, which is a priority card, making it resolve before any other combat cards this round. If it hits a ship with a melee combat card planned this phase, that combat card is skipped and I get additional glory. This negates the effect of his grapple and deals a total of 4 damage to his ship. He takes 1 less damage because he was hit from the side, but this still reduces it to 0 hit points, destroying his ship and removing it from the board. I would then gain an appropriate amount of glory. Now that his ship is removed, I am the next player in initiative order and will continue by using a tack movement. This allows me to rotate 90 degrees. Jared then plays a forward card, moving his ship forward. My next combat card is a Carronade, dealing 2 damage to a ship within 2 range off of my sides. This hits the Megalopron and causes it to take its reaction, moving forward and rotating again. Jared then also uses a Carronade to hit my ship, dealing 2 damage, and reducing me to 1 health. Next movement, I will move forward. Jared will also move forward. And then I will fire a broadside at him that would deal an extra damage if I hit the front of his ship, but since I am hitting the side, it only deals 2 damage. Jared then uses a hit and run card, dealing 2 damage to me, and since it hits me, it allows him to move forward again. This brings me down to 0 health, also destroying my ship and granting him glory. After the execution phase, we begin the cooldown phase. Ships that have used abilities, place them in the appropriate cooldown area where they cannot be used again for a certain number of turns. Ships that were destroyed are healed back to full health, and are returned to their starting locations, with all of their cards returned to their hand off cooldown. We next move to the Sea Monster phase, which we'll skip for the sake of brevity, and move to the scoring phase, where we draw a quest card that will create additional opportunities for players to interact with the board and gain glory in subsequent turns. Initiative token is then passed to the next player, and all players gain glory based on their ship's current location, gaining 1 glory if they end in the purple area, 2 if they're in the green, and 3 if they're in the gold. If any player had earned a glory token during their turn, they can exchange it to draw 2 cards from the glory deck, keeping one and discarding the other. Once a player has collected 7 glory cards, they win the game. Play then continues to the next planning phase, and gameplay continues until a player has won.